How's it hanging, dudes? My name is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. And alright, so let's go ahead and put humanity first today. Talk about a little bit about Andrew Yang and how Msnbc made a huge mistake. Man, did they make a big mistake, especially considering that, they're in the midst of that Yang media blackout. You know what I'm saying? They don't like Yang. They've omitted him on more than 12 numerous graphics. But as you can see, he's right here on this graphic, ain't he? Ain't he? That's right. They have to cover their steps now because everybody's calling him out. Trevor Noah, all of the online independent media is calling him out. It is glorious. It's glorious. But they go on. MSNBC goes on to show exactly how John Kerry was pretty much. They don't say it verbatim, but how John Kerry was in Yang's position. This time around, whenever he was running in the primaries, and he ended up being the Democratic nominee, right? So let's just go ahead and roll the clip, and I'll let you see this gold for itself.
Joining me now is MSNBC national political reporter Steve Kornacki. So, Steve, on the subject of peaking, when is the best time to peak?
This is the big question, certainly, in politics, because you look right now, and Buttigieg is on the rise, and his campaign would certainly like to believe that number is going to keep going up, and he's going to run away with the nomination. But we have seen more than a few cases in the past where the candidate who is on the rise in November, on the rise in December, ends up an afterthought when the voting actually begins. So this is the Democratic race right now. This is the new national poll from Quinnipiac yesterday. Let's look back at the last time there was sort of a wide-open, jumbled field on the Democratic side, and when Democrats were trying to come up with a candidate to take out a Republican president. This was back in 2004. George W. Bush was the president. The Iraq War. Democrats had a pretty wide open primary that year. This is what the national poll looks like in this race right now. This is what it looked like, this same poll at this same point in 2003. The front runner was Howard Dean. Howard Dean ended up, he won his home state of Vermont, he won nothing else. Joe Lieberman was in second place. Joe Lieberman's biggest claim to fame in the 2004 race ended up being when he said he got a three-way tie for third place in New Hampshire, but he was running in second place at this point. The actual nominee in 2004 was all the way back in single digits. John Kerry back at 8% at this point in 2004. The guy who came in second place that year, John Edwards, was all the way back at 5%. So again, this speaks to how fluid and wide open these races can be. You see the same thing in the early states. This is the new New Hampshire poll out this week. Wow, talk about wide open. 4 candidates within 4% of each other. First place at only 16%. But again, how much can change? Same poll, Boston Globe poll. This point in that 2004 cycle, this is what New Hampshire looked like. Of course, in the end, John Kerry ended up beating Howard Dean by 10 points. What happened in 2004? Well, Iowa happened. John Kerry surged very late in Iowa. Final days of that campaign, won the Iowa caucuses. And when that happened, his number surged in New Hampshire. His number surged in the South. His number surged everywhere. He ended up winning the nomination easily.
I mean, if they're really trying to keep Yang under, they're not really doing a good job of it. They're just explaining exactly how he can rise to the top. We're playing the long game here. He might not even win Iowa, but he is like at 42% in New Hampshire, and they're not showing that. You know what I mean? They are not showing that. I have a image right here that I clipped from Paget's video, and yeah, they're not showing him at all, and it's great. And they explained exactly that, look, just because you're at 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th in the polls, that doesn't mean nothing. Front runners fluctuate all the time. They think Pete Buttigieg is going to take away the whole thing, even with all of his Goldman Sachs and Facebook money, and even with all of the media not asking him hard questions or stuff like that. Whenever the big debates start and these candidates start cutting him down, even if Yang's not on there, especially if Tulsi's on there, it's going to be bad for him. So Yang and Tulsi, they have a very good shot. So don't let nobody spin it otherwise. MSNBC kind of forgot to bite their tongue, and Steve Kornacki just pretty much explained how these lower and plus because Yang called them out, they can't not include him on the graphics now. So when they had to do this little segment, it's beautiful. So yeah, this definitely backfired big time. I don't think they thought that through, or they're actually just trying to do a little bit of genuine coverage now because they got called out so much. I don't know what it is. They're definitely not getting Yang, you know what I'm saying, because they're owned by Michael Bloomberg. So, it is what it is. You should start seeing them push him a whole lot more. But when Yang wins, it's going to be bad for MSNBC. They're going to lose a lot of money. And I know the clip is short. I know it's just a snippet, but I'm not sure if MSNBC knows exactly what they're doing. I don't know if they're just floundering or if they're just shooting from the hip or just going with the flow. But I don't know if they're going to try to do some pseudo positive coverage, kind of, and just still not cover Yang as like mainstream, but just including, you know what I mean? I'm not sure exactly how that's going, but definitely the pressure does need to be kept up. And I just don't understand, like, what was their thought process behind this? They do realize that? Then again, though, I guess there's not a huge amount of people who even know about Yang watching MSNBC, right? I mean, they don't cover him at all, so I guess even doing some sort of halfway positive coverage doesn't even come close to showcasing to the people exactly what's going on and how they're doing the blackout for Yang. And it definitely is so much worse than Bernie Sanders. I mean, definitely Bernie Sanders isn't getting a fair shake, but comparative to Yang or Tulsi even, I mean, they're just outright smearing Tulsi and they're just leaving Yang off. And Bernie, they just, every time they compare him to somebody, it's never a good comparison, you know what I mean? So I don't know exactly what they're doing, what their end goal is, but I do know that if Andrew Yang becomes president, it's going to be extremely bad for MSNBC, both ratings-wise and just their coverage, because first off, they're going to try to find as many ways to smear Yang as possible. They're going to treat him just like Donald Trump. It's going to be a weird thing because they're supposed to be left-leaning. So I wonder how all that would play out if he does win. So I don't really know, man. It's just such a hard thing to grasp your brain around. Like, what exactly are they doing? Like, they're trying to tip the scales, obviously, but now that they've been exposed, like, are they just going to try to meander and let it fly out of the radar underneath the rug? You know what I mean? I don't understand exactly what they're doing. It doesn't really make much sense to me. Maybe you guys can let me know down in the comment section below, because MSNBC, they're hot and they're cold, man. One day they're this, one day they're that, and it's never completely positive, but they kind of got caught with their pants down. They literally just explain exactly how Yang has a path to victory. Iowa definitely does help, but Iowa and New Hampshire isn't the only states out there. You know what I mean? So it's just a good media surge because of the first couple states. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I don't know, guys. MSNBC is just crazy. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, man. Just Steve really, he just kind of made our case for us. You know what I mean? That was kind of sad. And as long as Yang keeps going, you guys got to go over there and donate. He's a little bit behind on donations. You guys got to come through for that. So go do that, and that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. I just thought that was hilarious. MSNBC is not thinking this stuff through, man. This stuff is backfiring on them horribly, and it's laughable. It really is, and I think it's great. And plus, you guys got to keep up the fight on MSNBC. They're still trying to smear him every once in a while, and they're not giving him the right kind of coverage. And even Kyle Kalinske, the Young Turks, all these other people, David Pakman, all these people who are pro Bernie, like diehard Bernie, are defending Yang on this, and they know because Bernie's not getting as much of the black. He's getting some of the blackout because he's not an establishment candidate, even though he supported Hillary. That's the reason why he's getting as much coverage as he is this time around, because he is name recognition and because of, he supported Hillary, which kind of was a nod to the establishment, which fucking makes me mad. But anyways, he's not getting as much of the blackout. Yang's getting a big percentage of the blackout, like complete blackout. Now they're trying to, I guess, pretend like they're doing. It's just the corruption, the rot goes so deep. It's so sad. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this second story. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.